I've got to reframe everything before we start. Yeah, we are unframed like crazy. So, yeah, give me a minute. Where is everybody? Sorry, everybody. It's going to look weird for a minute. Joys of live movement of frames. Currently, everybody is very... Yep. I have 4 of them. I have one on his face, one on like both of his eyes, and just like any movement he makes, it's like magnified. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's a lot of arrogance. I saw it pop up. I was like, how long ago? I was like 7 years ago or whatever. Oh. Yep.
Want to do this, like we're on your side, but like we have to because this is, we have to treat everybody fairly, and then he just kept pushing it.
Pushing the issue, yeah. So it is what
it is. It's like,
all right, so they should be able to hear us now. Everything should be framed good.
Testing.
Can we get some test?
Mm-hmm.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Of course you would do that. Why wouldn't you?
He's just
rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Yeah.
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
Test.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow. Oh no, the one is.
Of course you would say lorry.
I love lorry. Let's go. Let's go.
Big black
blue
book,
bug's blood.
3 times, very fast.
Big bug. Blue bug's blood. Blue bug's blood. Blue bug's blood.
Blue bug's blood. Blue bug's blood. Oh god, that's worse.
That one's tough.
That's
Blue
hard.
bug's blood.
Yeah, I was a theater kid in high school. I know all of the tongue twisters.
Oh, there you go. All right, if you guys want to start recording in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Too fast.
I gave you 5 whole seconds. You should have been ready.
Oh wow.
Go. Okay, go.
Ready? Go.
Yep.
Recording.
Cool.
Recording.
All
right. I see
everybody good and ready. Anybody need a breather before we actually start? What's up?
My readings are pretty small on my Audacity, which they're usually not that small. You guys can hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna trust y'all.
I'm gonna trust.
You could, I mean, if you want, you can change your recording volume in Audacity. Just slide the little scroller up a little bit if you want to. That's up to you, though.
I'm gonna keep it as is. If I make your job harder, it's just it ain't nothing but the game.
Yeah, audio editing blasts. Good times.
Well, I'm glad I didn't do a face reveal because I feel like the internet would have been really disappointed.
You need to do a tie reveal. for every time you're on camera.
Yeah. I should do a closet reveal where I prove that all I own are suits and ties.
That
Like,
actually,
just-
that'd be
That would
pretty
be
good.
efficient.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah.
That's quality content, sir.
Be like, what do you have? I have underwear, I have socks, and I have suit pants, dress shirts, ties, and jackets, and that's it.
Yeah, my tie collection is extensive. I have hundreds of ties.
I could tell your tie game is fire. Like I have to see that. That's premium content, sir. I would pay to see that.
You know how I used to do it is when I was poor and young, I always wanted to wear neckties, but I couldn't afford it. And so I found out from a friend that you can go to a laundromat and ask them if they have any stuff that people left over. And if they would, people leave ties all the time. They're on like a business trip and they forget to pick it up from the dry cleaner, and they'll sell you for like $80. They'll sell you just a bag of ties, like that people just have left over the years. And I bought that, and that had like 150 ties. And some of them were really expensive ties. Some of them were trash, but like, that's how I acquired a lot of my ties.
That's fire, bro. Salute. No doubt. Oh, shout out to my man Alex up in there from Defining Doom. Battle at the event. That's what's up. Last day, we're back for dead. My Sherpa's in there, new rad. What's going on? The Liz is in there.
Shout out to Vagabondo with the super chat. $5. Good evening. Reprobates. Guardians. Well, that's getting contentious already. Well, we may as well get this thing started. So we'll go silence on the set. And may as well strap in. It's going to be a fun one. Silence in 5.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
3.
All right. And we are live. Yo, Nomad's killing me with the case. Welcome to The Last Word with Lord Cognito, Ebontis, and the amazing Tie Guy Travis. What is going on, gentlemen? Let's start with Trav first. What's going on with you, sir? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I've been working on back-to-back reviews, finished I Am Fish. Now I'm working on that game Sable that I'll have a review up of next week. It comes out next week. And just keeping busy. I haven't gotten to play a lot of games that I've been seeing everybody freak out about. Deathloop is super high on my list. I really want to get some time with that. I still haven't caught up with Psychonauts 2. I still haven't even opened that game on my dashboard. So my backlog is super long and growing, and I'm really worried about what this fall is going to do to it. How about you, E?
Let's see. I've played about 5-6 hours of Deathloop. It has its hooks in me deep, man. It's just a lot of fun. Now, I've never played an arcane game. I'd never played Dishonored, so I know I've missed out.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
So,
whoa!
Don't feel bad. We share that.
I was
Maddie
like,
kills me.
And
Maddie plays kills me all the time. Continue.
I've heard really, really good things about like the movement and the level design and stuff like that. And I don't know if the level design would be quite as much as I heard about Dishonored 2. Some like weird rotating church house thing. There's something I remember hearing about that in there that's crazy, but just. I don't know, from watching New Rad's tell me he played Dishonored 1, there's a teleport move that you can eventually get, and it feels really smooth. Gunplay is actually pretty on point. I'm playing on PC, which had some bugs, but I kind of like verified the installation, seems to be good now. Overall, it just is a fun sandbox to toy around in, and the more you kind of learn, they had some nice quality of life things in there. I'm trying not to give away too much.
We lost Nomad.
And we lost our guest, and...
Reconfigure. I'll take over. I'll talk.
Nope. He's good. He's good.
Stuff.
We move. We're good.
He's
in the right position.
He's in his Hollywood
square. He's in the right position. Yeah, he's in his square. Yeah. Circle takes the square. All right.
That's why they call him Nomad, right?
He's
Nomad because he's always on the move. Yeah.
All right.
We got to introduce somebody. Right?
I know.
Somebody special returning.
I was getting there. I was just talking about that. But anyway.
Still talking about Deathloop. Yeah,
Deathloop's fun. I missed out. I haven't played Fist yet for PS5. That one looks good. There's a lot. As I said, I agree with you, Travis. The backlog is growing, I swear, by the minute. Kenna's next week. It's just going to be crazy. So
you guys need to play Dishonored. Like, oh my God, dude.
I know.
Arcane is low-key one of the best developers in the game right now.
I'm sorry, Trav, you're right, because I literally podcast. My defining quote is like the Lord of Arcade, and he like kills me. He's like, you gotta play. I'm like, I know.
Dude, seriously, that's why it was such a big move when Xbox bought Bethesda, because they're getting some of the best developers in the world. Arcane is super underrated as a studio. Playground Games, like they're kind of consolidating a lot of the really good developer teams. But yeah, Arcane games are amazing.
Before we go too far, we have an amazing guest with us. So I've got to introduce him. So let's get to it. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 166. Marasov and Savathun are currently playing their game of chess while we move like pawns in the system. We may think we know the conclusion to this story, but the journey still has most of us rather intrigued. Speaking of journeys, Crucible has been through a bumpy one for a while now, but last weekend was something special. Records were broken, Saint 14 probably lost his voice, and loot showered guardians from the proverbial heavens. In a week where Crucible is such an important topic, our guest is a perfect one to join us at the campfire this week. If you listen to his videos, you might picture Sherlock Holmes. And you wouldn't be that far off, honestly. With his deerstalker hat, pipe in hand, as he adjusts his glasses and prepares to speak, the words he uses you know will be articulated in a way that confirms intelligence, but if you listen, he conveys all points of any topic in a way that feel as though a fog has been lifted and new light can be seen on the horizon. You can't explain why after watching one of his videos, you are now driven to improve yourself, and yet filled with a sense of calm at the same time. Ready to tackle what lies ahead, but not exactly sure why your perspective may have changed. Was it the words he said? Or just the way he said it with that smooth ASMR sound and brilliant accent? Did I have a grand epiphany, or did someone just perform an inception in my mind? You may have found our guest by a video, tweet, or live gameplay review. You've likely taken a moment to change the way you play Destiny after consuming his content. If you don't find him in Destiny, putting in methodical work for Shax or Saint, he is likely playing car soccer at a very high level, because, of course, anything with a high skill ceiling intrigues this man. So, whether you enroll in Scrub Mentality 101, Iron Banner 212, or Movement 316, I highly suggest you attend one of this man's lectures. The man with the PhD in Destiny, the one and only Crucible Doctor, AscendantNomad, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Put your goddamn hands together.
I'm doing very good, and that was quite the introduction, I have to say. My answer is yes, I will marry you. That was
Nice.
pretty good. I wish I did that to my girlfriend, like gave her that kind of speech and that sort of info, because Jesus Christ.
Woo!
I'm allowed to say that, right? I
Yeah.
can
Yes.
say-
Nope, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
made
can
it past
say
the
that.
first 30 seconds on YouTube. You're good.
Woo! We good. What's going on, brother?
How you doing,
Yeah,
man?
it's good. Yeah, really, really good. It's been a really good week for Destiny. It's been a really good week for Crucible. This season is going from strength to strength to strength, and it's getting really, really interesting narratively as well. But I'm just very happy that not only did Crucible get the revamp it deserved, or, well, part of Crucible got the revamp it deserved, but the communication surrounding it has also been fairly consistent and has been fairly open. So I'm really excited to see where it goes from here, and I'm really excited to see how it is sustained over the next 5 months or so.
Definitely, man. Good to have you here, man. Always a pleasure. I love your videos, the comedic timing, the know-how of PvP. It always makes me smile, brings me joy to watch a Nomad video. So it's good to have you back, and we got to get into it. Right? A lot of stuff going on. Like what's going on with this game this week, man? Talk to us.
I mean, unless you're living under a rock, a very specific playlist exploded this weekend with literally record players for almost all of the franchise. People have different contentions, whether it was Trials of the Nine or D1, basically nearly a record weekend if it wasn't, depending on what record you're comparing it to. And that was Trials of Osiris, which we've all been saying has been nearly dead mode, half-baked, all of those things. And finally, Bungie's just like, all right, we're going to do everything all at once at the same time. Anything we figure out, we're going to hit next week and the week after, which we'll get to. I mean, the fact that I played 70 matches this weekend, and I have opinions about all of those, is more than I probably have ever played Trials, possibly ever.
Wow.
So, I mean, I've been carried probably in D1. I got carried to a lighthouse hard carry. In D2, I dabbled a little. I didn't even play Trials of the Night, I don't think. But in D2, probably played once or twice here. Maybe with friends, got to 3 wins for a little bit, but literally haven't been flawless. And I still haven't, which is fine. But I played a lot. It's an interesting grind. I'll have, opinions about some stuff, but overall, the fact that I can go in no matter when the hour, who I'm with or otherwise, definitely gives life to a lot of different things. What about you guys? Since I took the stage in the wrong time. The non-Crucible guy went first. I'm out of the way. Now the important people.
I'll go. It was interesting because, obviously we had a lot of discussion here, Travis and I and stuff like that. And I understood Travis's concern. I know this is going to feel like, oh, this is the attack, the jump Travis show. This is not that. This is the experiences of, he had legitimate concerns, and I respected that. At the end of the day, for me, I said, I'm going to do something different. I always attempt to play trials with my 3 squad, and we promptly get smashed all the time. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to purposely play solo the entire weekend just to truly see how that experience is. And it was interesting. Like, the first couple of matches, I felt like, okay, people were kind of on my skill level. For the most part, I felt like I was kind of the best player, which is weird, which is that does not happen a lot. And I felt like 80% of my matches where I was the best guy, right? And there were times where I clutched up and did some things. I put some highlights out on Twitter that I was even amazed. So to me, it just showed, okay, the pool is larger, because if who I'm playing with, I'm the best guy out of everything of both teams. I got a couple of GGs from opposing teams, or some clutch ups I did and things like that, and some engagement, some clutch quality reses and stuff like that. So that was good. As the card went on, I would say the only time I felt a little weirdness was probably like right when I got to about 5 or 6 wins, because then I started to see my opponents, the majority of the time, were a 2-stack or a 3-stack. And I'm like, damn, okay, that's not necessarily the fairest, because I know those guys are communicating. I could tell their movement, their placement on the map, and those matches were a struggle. I never went flawless the entire weekend, but I did get to 7. I'll be honest, I was proud of my flow at 7. I put the tweet up. I got my reads regret. I think what it did for me is the 50-round thing is a mental game changer, because if you're not good at PvP, it's like, okay, just win some rounds. Just win some rounds. Stick in there. You're okay. To me, when it was the, flawless or bust, and that's it for every skill level, the people at the bottom, bro, it's so demoralizing to get smashed the very first match. You're not stepping in there. You're like, yo, this ain't for me. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of it. And I'm an slightly above average PvP player, right? So it mentally crushes me when I was just like, oh, man. And I love trials. So to see that with the round changing, that helped. Then you get your little rewards and stuff like that. I love the focus Engrams would say. That is really cool. Just be able to specifically target specific things and weapons I wanted. And yeah, overall, I thought I got to shout them out on the mats. I was always against them with low materials. When I play a Nightfall, I'm getting showered with prisms and all this other stuff. But PvP, which I love, I'm like, this is the most competitive thing going. So overall, like I said, great experience. I thought for the most part, they knocked it out 90% of the way. We'll get into the stuff improvement later. But quickly, I was happy, man. To see so many people on my friends list, and it says Trials of Osiris, my favorite game mode of all. Like, I was happy, y'all. Like, it just felt good to see the community show out, and people listen. King David got
I know,
flawless.
I saw.
Like King David, like for me, there was a part of I was a little jealous. I ain't gonna front. I still haven't gone flawless in D2, but
really,
I've never been flawless. Yeah. I've never been flawless. So like in D1 once, but like to see King, and this is a guy that would step in there one time, get smashed, and say, "Hell no, I'm a PvE main. I'm never going back." To see him there and put that thing up proudly on Twitter, that's what it is. And last point I'll say is Mercury's made a good point. Is all the casuals going to go flawless? No, right? Are people in the elite, some people feel like, hey, it may be devalued. I understand that to a level, but to me, that playing field has not changed. You can still
it has. Play. I'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. To me, if you are a guy who wants to go flawless, you'll play the elite of the elite. And what I like is that those guys get to, once they go flawless, technically continue to own their flawless card against other people with that skill set. So that to me still has not changed. The thing to me, which is great, is that a whole batch of people that would never play the mode are now playing, and the mode survives. So sorry, Travis, the numbers speak for themselves, bro. It just does. That's just what it is. You can't deny it. Now you could say, well, more people are going. more people are going flawless, that minimizes mine. I guess if you feel so, but to me, it's a weak argument
not
because at
my
the end of the day,
argument at all.
okay, well, at the end of the day, the way you've played previously in trials before, you still can play now. Nothing has changed. You can still matchmake and you can still play against other teams. And that's my final point. So I'll let Trav go.
Yeah. So obviously I have a lot of thoughts on this because this week the entire internet was hitting me up telling me that I'm wrong because lots of people were playing trials. And I have to say, like, I think I said on the show like 10 times that I thought all the changes they were making to trials were good, except I had concerns about matchmaking. And I think all of the other stuff, crossplay, pumping up the numbers, the system being more rewarding, getting rid of the special ammo carrying over from round to round so the rich don't get richer and the poor get poorer. All the little changes, all the changes big and small that they made, I think were hugely beneficial. And of course, matchmaking was beneficial to increasing player numbers. But the thing I said was that I was worried that if they added matchmaking, the experience that was previously trials of going in with a team of 3 who are all communicating, playing against other teams that are sweaty 3-on-3 is essentially going to be gone, and it's not really going to be trials anymore. And I stand by that. I think that's still true. And I think that what this has shown is that Destiny doesn't really have an end game activity for PvP players anymore right now. I played this weekend. I did 1 card. I was casually playing with people I've never gone flawless with before, and we destroyed every team we ran up against on our first card and went flawless. It was really not much of a competitive landscape. So I think like I said, I think all of this is good. I just think that there needs to be an end game activity for PvP, and I don't know if trials is that anymore because of all of the changes they're making. I think it's sort of like, raids were too high of a barrier of entry, so they made dungeons instead, right? Trials feels like dungeons to me now, where it's sort of end game, but it's not really the most
So I guess the
highest tier end game.
I was like, activity. I heard this somewhere else and I wanted to ask. Trials is, I get what you're going for, 3v3 only. If there was if the population was bigger but was still all teams of 3, there's still basically a statistical chance that you're going to go through and have the experience that you did with your team of people that, don't really sync together too well, because there's going to be a big enough population, even if they're 3s or match made, that there are going to be some good and bad 3 stacks. Some play together more. Whether you look up on LFG, it doesn't really matter the way the 3s come into the match. Matchmaking or not matchmaking, if I go to LFG and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to play? Communication is one thing. And that will definitely give people an advantage, just if 3 people are talking and 3 aren't. But the fact that there's going to be a disparity in skill levels with a large population means there are going to be times that you are going to be facing teams that are below a normal skill level just because there's so many people in there. And believe me, I got stomped a lot, and I can vouch for the other side of that. But I was just saying, a big population is still going to give more people a chance, especially if you, like you, are going to be on a higher end, that you're going to probably stomp more people than you did before. So
yeah, I just like I said, like I don't think any of the changes they made are bad. I don't think it's bad that more people are playing trials. I don't think that it devalues my experience if more people go flawless. I think that's a stupid argument. My thing is just that for the people like me who want that like premium ultra competitive experience, that doesn't exist in Destiny right now. That's all I'm saying. There isn't that experience. They need to separate the playlists. They need to make a ranked system where there's, platinum, gold, like lots of other games do. There needs to be something else so that players who want that end game experience can do that. Let's have AscendantNomad.
I'll let Nomad go before I go.
So I'm gonna completely annoy Cog with this. I think Travis is completely on the money here.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think he's absolutely correct. The thing is, trials. It was marketed and it was paraded around and it was presented very much like a carnival. It's like, yo, this is a big thing happening and it's new and it's in town and it's a huge thing. Come on down. There's going to be prizes for everybody. It's like going up to a carnival attraction and, shooting the things on the shelf, and then, you might miss some, but you might win some. And it's just supposed to get people in through the door and get people interested in the idea of playing PvP. We really don't have that. We have the Iron Banner is the only other thing that gets any sort of attention from Bungie with respect to PvP, and it is really bad. Like it's got a completely outdated RNG token system. It is very the matchmaking has a mind of its own. The actual game mode is it is quicker than normal control, but it doesn't iterate upon it or make it interesting enough to make you want to play it. The only reason 90% of people play Iron Banner is for pinnacles, and if they're chasing for a particular role, like of the Peace Bond sidearm, which by the way is S tier as
Amazing.
hell.
Yes. Show the video. Show the video, sir. Video's fire. Continue.
Yes. So you know, so the way I see it, the way I see this whole trials thing is that we need people to be excited about PvP again, because nobody cares. There hasn't been any reason outside of your own innate desire to go and play PvP. There's no reason in game, story wise, narratively, lore, any reason to go inside PvP. And it's felt very neglected for a long time. So Trials comes around because it's the thing everybody knows. It's supposed to be this uber sweaty thing, but they've changed it to be very accessible. They've changed it to allow lots and lots of people into the playlist, and they're showering loot, people getting Ascendant shards like they've never seen before, people getting, rapid hit Desperado messengers, even though they've never dared set foot in Trials before. And I think this is all good because it's put into Destiny 2 the one thing that has been missing this entire time, which is consistent positive reinforcement. There hasn't been anything in Destiny aside from your own desire to go out there and improve. There's been no reason to do it. And, just on a personal bias level, it's like my content is surrounded around improvement. And there's a very good reason why I haven't grown as fast as I would like.
Salute, I love it.
People don't care. But with Trials, you give people the carrot on the stick, except the stick is quite short. And you say, hey, isn't that carrot really tasty? Well, guess what? In Witch Queen, fingers crossed, here's all the different ranking systems in competitive. We have a full competitive rework.
Yep.
We have,
That's the one we need.
Let's just bring in the Rocket League ranking system. We started bronze.
Yes,
we ended up in like diamond, plat, Supersonic League, all that. Grand champion, sorry. And basically, you whet the appetite again. You get people to think about PvP as not a joke anymore. That it is for the every person. And Trials is the carnival. Trials is supposed to be fun. But if you really want to sweat your balls off, that's what competitive's for. And right now, competitive isn't that.
Yeah.
So we're left with Trials, and Trials being the end game experience. I agree with Travis. It doesn't feel like that at all.
Question. I need, for both of you who say that is not the end game experience, the competitive experience, I need what the parameters would be for both of you to say, okay, this makes it competitive. Is it a skill-based matchmaking aspect? Is it, what about the way Trials is configured now makes it no longer, is it just strictly because it's match? Because in my opinion, Travis feels it's matchmaking. The fact that matchmaking is in and that teams are not set, these are his words, that teams are not in teams of 3 communicating, right? That takes away from the hardcore sweater experience. So my challenge to that is then what makes it that? Does it have to have matchmaking for it to be that? Like that's my question. What defines that?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. For me, I think it is always going to be a little bit trivialized when you compare it to other competitive aspects, because it's a looter shooter fundamentally, and the carrot on the end of the stick is ornaments, like guns, that sort of thing. So the primary reason why anybody would play it would be for those rewards. But I think the biggest thing that would, like, the reason why I think Trials is not competitive right now is because it's really, really hard to say this. I need just a minute just to get the words in my head right.
No, that's the only part I'm trying to understand, because it's like, for me, it's like, I agree with Ebontis in the sense that if the player pool is bigger, right, then the sweaties, the best of the best, are going to more likely match up against average to low average people. Thus, they're going to... They are the creme de la creme, so to speak. So if more people are involved, then that's naturally going to happen. See, my thing is, this is my last point. This is my last point. The elite can't have it both ways. The elite can't say there's not enough people playing Trials, And then I'm mad because I'm going against sweaties and all I'm going up against other sweaties, right? But when the player place is increased, they can't get mad and say, well, I'm crushing people. It's casual now because I'm not facing other sweaties. You can't have both ways.
Yeah, no, I'm personally not fussed about that. I've figured it out in my head.
Okay.
I think Trials is not competitive is because I don't feel like I've become a better player by spending a whole weekend in there. And I feel like I should. If I'm spending a full weekend of 150 matches plus, playing a playlist, I should feel like I got better. I didn't.
Okay.
And I would say the vast majority of the people I face, I don't think they got anything out of it from a skill improvement perspective either.
Okay.
There isn't like the whole point of ranking systems. Yes, it is sort of skill-based matchmaking. I know you're not allowed to say that word because you'll get cancelled on Twitter.
That's where I'm heading.
Yep, that's where we're going.
When you have established rank floors, you have established skill brackets. And there's an expectation and almost a predictability that comes with those brackets that people are going to play in a certain way and they're going to have a certain amount of game knowledge and this is going to be about like let's say if you're fabled, your 2100s, if that was a real thing, that would be like average. I'd say most people should be able to get to fabled. They'll be able to hit their shots, they'll be able to rotate, they'll be able to know what an objective is, they'll be able to do maybe have a couple of builds here or there. But like then you go to the 5500. Let's say that's the top rank. I'm expecting, and if it's done correctly, I'm expecting people with encyclopedic knowledge to try and take me down. I'm thinking about hunters who are running top tree Night Stalker, which most people laugh at. But the fact you pair that with Gemini's Jester, or you pair it with Graviton Forfeit, which gives you advanced class ability regeneration, you can use both of those exotics for radar manipulation, and that throws people off, and it can completely break the rhythm of teams because it blinds and it confuses people. I want to see a playlist where I don't have to go into I have to go into third, fourth, and fifth gear to really eke out a victory. And in Trials, for me, and I know a lot of people like me, and a lot of people who are not super high skill, but even just like above average, they don't even have to get out of second gear to get a win and go flawless.
Completely understand where you're coming from. My question then will be what E is alluding to, the classic debate with skill-based matchmaking.
Well, again. I was like, I kind of that, but also it sounds like Trials, what they've made now is a way to give people a reason to have incentive to go chase the loot that people enjoy looking at. We've got a new set of weapons in there, and you've also got a reason for people to play a different game mode in elimination, which is going to give them some variety. Is it like the elitist, anything like that? Nomad did a video a long time ago about what comp rework should be, and that, I think, when you go into... like, I played StarCraft when I was... God knows how many years that's been. But even StarCraft rank or Rocket League rank, or however you have the tiers, like if I log in and I'm in Diamond 2... No, I probably wouldn't be in Diamond. Let's move that down to Bronze. But whatever, like, you're in, you've got a group of people around you that if you jump in, you're going to play around there. And then that way, as Nomad said, it's like, if I go in, I'm playing people around me. And this kind of goes back to the 70 matches I played. When I jumped in and there was a 3-stack, I was like, crap. Most of the time, just the way the movement would work, the communication, I was like, I think I got him here. I didn't catch the guy flanking. And again, there's things that I can kind of think of. But also it was the point where when I played like the solos or the 2v1 and 2v1, when I got in those, I was like, okay, these two are going here. They're kind of occupied. I can kind of flank around, catch them behind. And there's moments where I actually got to try different things without like the ultra elite knowing exactly the best thing to do. And I got a chance to learn in those. I just didn't get to experiment that much because those were so rare in my card. Because on those matches when it was like solos or 2v1s, and it wasn't, and every so often I did beat a 3-stack, but it wasn't that often. When I would play through those matches, I was like, okay, this is what I want to experience like the whole way through for me at my level. And that would be a fun experience. There's some challenge, there's some sweat for me at my point, but also there's a point where it's like, hey, I can kind of work on my shots because I'm not seeing somebody slide through midair and hit me in a snipe. And I was just like, holy shot. And I was just like, those moments I'm like, dude, you are far beyond me. But on the other side, it's like, okay, I'm trading. I see somebody flanking. They're not doing it that fast. They don't make the best move. I can adjust. Those little things that I get a chance to do in a mid skill level match is what I want more of. And I think a ranked system would be the best because Trials is like a cool way. Like, again, we can have the kind of the debate. Is it elite? Whatever. But like a ranked trials, and if you guys got up to like Platinum 1, like the highest 5,500, if you want to call whatever that is, if you're at that level and you jump into comp or ranked or whatever you want to call it, you know that's going to be ultra sweaty, but you know you got yourself there. Me, if I'm going like bronze 3, bronze 2, bronze 1, and I can see progress as well, that gives me incentive to keep going, but there's no way I should face a diamond 1. I shouldn't even be in the same ballpark. That's why I was like, trials is fun at this point, and I think it may serve, as you guys say, almost a different purpose, which is fine, but then comp now needs the biggest rework.
Even. Yep. Yeah, so for like what I would like, so the original question was what does it need to be considered competitive? And I think what it needs is it needs a competitive environment. Like if you think about what Trials is as a system now, it's sort of like pulling a slot machine. Like you don't know the team you're going to get set up against, and because there's not even a separate playlist for full stacks, it could be solo queues, it could be 2 people in 1, it could be somebody of a completely different skill set, and you don't really see a lot of you don't get to peek behind the curtain. And that was the same problem with the old skill-based matchmaking system, is people don't like skill-based matchmaking when they don't understand how they got into that, and it just seems like they're getting crushed or crushing other people. Because the reason people like Ascendant and I play trial or play comp, and I don't want to speak for Ascendant, but just the people I know who play comp, they don't play it because they want to get to the lighthouse and get the armor. They play it because they want to see iron sharpen iron. We want to become better by playing with other players who are at our level or better than us, and we want to make other people better by playing at the same level with them. Yeah. And if you think about what comp is right now, it's sort of like just it's not a mountaintop you're climbing with all these different layers. It's something where you're just sort of completing laps, right? Like you get to legend and then you reset, and then you get to legend and reset, but you're not like setting yourself at, okay, I'm diamond 1 and now I'm going to play against diamond 1 and I'm going to try to get to whatever it is that's above diamond 1, right? And working your way up that. And I think if something like that existed and it was transparent how the skill was happening, I had a little icon next to my tag that when I was in comp that showed what skill level I was at, then I'm not as mad about skill-based matchmaking, because it's not just matching me based on my playtime or my KDA or something arbitrary like that may not tell the full story. It's basing it off of the progress I've made that season to get into that bracket and then get matched with people in that bracket. So I just think it's a holistic rework. Trials can continue to be what it is right now. It can continue to be the fun, as Ascendant called it, a carnival, which I think is a super apt metaphor. It's a fun, get in there, play trials, and earn loot situation, which I think everybody is entitled to. I'm okay with matchmaking existing, but trials had previously been serving, not well recently, but in the past, it has served the role of being endgame content for Crucible. We just don't have that now.
It didn't have.
I'm talking way long ago. I'm talking way long ago, Cog.
It didn't have any of that. What you described, trials never had. That's why I said you're acting as if that was in place, and then it got taken away from you, and thus we have the carnival that is now. Trials never existed in that format.
I'm trying to say it tried to be that thing. And it seemed like Bungie was always trying to make it that, and they got off track. And then rather than going, okay, we're going to rework it and make it the endgame content for Crucible, they went the other direction. And they said, okay, it's just going to be Iron Banner 2.0. It's just going to be our replacement for, a more social playlist that's letting people in. And my whole point with this was, I want trials to be, I previously, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. Maybe now comp is the future, but I wanted there to be an endgame activity for Crucible, and I felt like trials could be that if they reworked it. They went the other way, and so of course guys like me who want that are disappointed. Like, how could we not be? Like, there's no foreseeable future where we have a endgame content for Crucible, and that makes me that's disappointing.
I get where you go to an extent. I guess for me, where you seem a bit harder on Glory, I felt Glory and comp attempted that better than trials, because I felt Glory at least had the visual representation of this progression and skill set of where you are to get to this end game. Then there was the rinse, repeat once you reset the top rank. So to me, trials was the epitome of crapshoot prior. I'm talking about prior. Like, I didn't know what skill I was playing against. I didn't know
D1.
I'm talking about D2. I'm not talking about D1. I'm talking about D2.
I'm talking about D1 because in my opinion, D2 has never gotten trials right, and they've been trying to get back to it. But in D1 days, it felt more like an endgame activity to me. I don't know if there was something that they were doing different in the back, but
I understand. But
it was behind the curtain. But
there was no visual representation of it.
No, there was the card. So the card and what step you were in the card, you were going against people who were only at that level of the card. And because the player base was smaller, because the player base was smaller, when you get to rank or when you get to match 5, 6, 7, you sort of know who you're going against. And so I'm not saying it was perfect. They've never gotten it right in Destiny. Crucible has always been just a complete crapshoot, but I wanted them to go in the direction, and a lot of the stuff that they've said over the years is we want that competitive experience. We want a platform for the ultra sweaties, and they seem to have gone in the opposite direction. And so, of course, guys like me are disappointed. But that doesn't mean I think nobody should be able to play Trials, and that I'm elitist and I want nobody to get loot. I'm even saying, yeah.
Last week, you said because matchmaking was included, you said they could have done everything that they had. Every change was great, except for matchmaking. You said matchmaking was what threw this in the bushes for you. So again, would that involve? If I
actually said, I said Trials was unnecessary. If they had done all of the other changes except for matchmaking, I think that they would have fixed 90% of the problem. With the fact that Trials was unrewarding, that it was low, not having a high player base, crossplay alone. Why is matchmaking getting all the credit for fixing Trials? Crossplay, dude. If you want to talk about increasing the player base, at least on a console, because I play on console, there were so many more people just because of crossplay. So that's my whole point. But yeah, obviously, I think matchmaking is like, that was sort of to me the signal of like, okay, it's no longer even trying to be end game content for Crucible. Like it's just they're just saying get in there, hop in casually, one single solo queue and that sort of thing. And some solo queuers went flawless. I mean, you saw your King David, he was he was in a 2-stack and he went flawless. To me, that's like, and then guys like me, like we're not even trying. Like I literally went flawless my first card with DJ Oros and Minge and those guys that you've played with. So like, you know. Shout out to them.
Nomad's been contemplating on this a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Nomad. My bad.
Nomad talk.
I got one more.
We've been debating this for weeks, so we got history here.
Yes. Thanks.
Go ahead, Nomad. I feel like I've walked in on a lover's quarrel here.
Yeah,
seriously.
I'm not sleeping in the house tonight. That's it.
Wow, you didn't even get kicked to the couch.
Post Motel 6.
I think. So the matchmaking point is definitely an interesting one, and we can debate the merits of whether or not matchmaking is the sole reason why Trials is or isn't competitive. But on a more fundamental level, we have to keep our expectations in check, because this game is not ever going to reach the level of competitiveness that we like to compare it to realistically.
Because I said that.
because of
hey, I've said that too many times on the show.
So because of peer-to-peer, so you know, whatever Bungie does with respect to matchmaking, I feel like is very much just trying to solve that issue well, and it's a miracle it works as well as it does sometimes. Though I don't think any of us individually, privately, publicly, whatever, can ever go 1 week without having a terribly laggy match. So the system has limitations, and if they really wanted to make a truly competitive game, they port everything over to dedicated servers. They have PTRs where they can test rule sets, they can test new maps. There needs to be the culture to support it too. And I'm not talking about the 15-year-olds on Twitter who create rule sets and harass content creators. I'm talking about like generally from the ground up, like something that's endorsed by an external organization, or Bungie sets up an external organization to handle competitive, create tournaments, to update their TOS so that they can have more than $10,000 as prize money, because right now everybody's playing for like $20 or 7-Eleven gift cards, which is adorable. But it's like ultimately trying to make a mountain of a molehill is personally not in my best interest. I try not to think too much about what it could be, because the bones aren't there right now, and until they actually make an effort to make the bones more solid, it's a bit of a moot point, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all I was trying to say. I think for me, you know, I got to the point with Bungie, just with the whole separation between PvP and PvE, the non-separation sometimes, you know, when it comes to balancing and sandbox, it's just a game that, in my opinion, they have proven it's just too difficult to balance, right? So on that fundamental core level of weapon sandbox, I never looked at this game as the ultimate competitive. Like Halo, I look at like an arena shooter, balanced map placement, map control. That's the epitome of PvP balance, and you can tweak and work in that sandbox better. But Destiny just has so many extra variables, and then abilities. Let's be real, like. We were at a point.
Actually,
yes,
sorry.
please.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please do.
I know I was ragging on the scrim scene just now because it's easy. But I do want to give them credit actually, because some of the rule sets they do come up with, they generally like to sit down and they look at the stuff and they say, okay, this is really, really powerful. We're gonna omit that. And this is really, really easy to proc, so we're going to omit that. We're gonna ban this. We're going to ban that. And you look at these rule sets, and they look ridiculous on the face of things. They look like no fun allowed is the best way to describe it. But then you sit down and you actually play with them, and you get a glimpse of what might be, which is the most tragic thing. You really. They really do think about them, and they do think about how it all plays together. And yes, sometimes it gets a bit samey. Everybody runs hand cannon shotgun anyways. It's a wonderful look at what would happen to the Crucible if gunplay and gunplay only was allowed to shine.
Right. And yeah, I mean, literally just reiterating what I wanted to say too, is just that it's just the nature of the game and the ability spam and supers. Destiny just has way too many variables. So for me, I understand Travis's concern and wanting it to be the pinnacle of PvP, and that's something still for them. I know they, as a studio, I know they want to aspire for that. I know they still want that, of course, but at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the survival of the game versus the vision of the game, right? And that's at conflict. At the end of the day, that's the problem. And they looked at it, they tried, the sweats were in there, and everything that they tried just wasn't working. Then on top of it, we didn't even talk about, obviously, the anti-cheat, which was another can of worms, besides the lack of dedicated servers and all this other stuff. So the way I look at it, they're doing the best they can. And trust me, I know me and Travis have it all the thing, but I know where he's coming from. I know what he's saying to his core is right, in the sense that this is not the PvP hardcore. I'm going to learn, I'm going to get better at the highest level. And I've already, what's the word? You just say like, okay, forget it. It's never going to be that.
You're currently in the stage of acceptance. You're already past grief and anger. You're now in acceptance.
I always was there. Yeah, I was there.
You can. So I've said like a million times on the show that like I don't think Destiny will ever be balanced, and I mean that for PvE and PvP. But that said, PvP is so vital to Destiny because it has always kept the game alive when PvE content couldn't.
I'm with you.
And the group that has kept it alive most are the hardcore sweaty people who like to play this game and try to make a competitive game out of it. So I don't think it's impossible to make a mode that at least puts people in brackets that season and gives them an aspirational kind of grind to move up and down. And they don't even have to lock specific gear behind that. They can give me a title or give me a glow or give me a weapon that's a certain color, so that when I rock it, people are like, oh, he was in the diamond group when he went to flawless trials. There's lots of different options that don't have to be, oh, I'm elitist and I want loot that nobody else can get. That's not my play at all. I just think that they could do a lot better than they're doing in terms of comp. It doesn't have to be it's never going to be Halo. I don't want it to be Halo. I already have Halo and I'm very excited to be playing it in a couple months. But I just think that they could be doing a lot better. And I think it would help the health of the game if they created something like that, because it would reward the people who keep the game alive when Destiny doesn't have PvE content, which, let's be honest, that's like most of the time. Like Destiny's storied tale of not having enough content and having to rely on old crap. So I think of course I'm disappointed, but like, am I mad that they had record numbers and trials this weekend? Like, no, I was watching all the news with a big smile on my face.
I'm just messing with you.
I know. I had a big smile on my face. I was like, this is awesome. I love that people are playing PvP. Now I'm going to get into the playlist and make them wish they hadn't. And then I did, right? And that is, that's how I do it. So
respect. Last point so that we could be in the middle here. What about you're making fantastic points as far as that distinction on the highest level. Let's say the next iteration would be like that. I don't say like a comp ranking system, like we talk about this diamond and stuff like that, and then
or at least separate the playlists for trials. I think that has to happen. I don't think we can have one I think we have to have freelance, and then we have to have
Freelance.
stacks. I don't know
Now
if we
that's
can.
where I'm
Yeah.
with you. The biggest flaw for me was like I said, this is why I'm like, damn, they really do need the freelance, because I really felt, and I know, shout out to people who did go solo, in this matchmaking.
I just watched
himself.
Nomad's reaction when you said that. And it's been an interesting one, so go first. Yeah.
No. It just I've seen a few people say they've gone flawless in this new system, just matchmaking.
That's
whatever,
amazing.
which is amazing, right? But for
I
me,
did solo, and I'm gonna be honest, I got slapped. It was so hard to not. I was playing against full stacks. I was just like, dude, these guys aren't communicating.
Right, and I felt at that once I got to 5 to 7, that's when me and Travis were in a complete agreement. I just felt it was completely unfair, because it's a difference when I'm playing with other people in the same situation as me who are also freelancing and not team. But the minute I seen two people with their clan tag the same on the opposition, I pretty much knew it was a wrap, because those guys had better communication and were going to be dominant. So that's where I do agree with the separation, that at some point with this Trials Labs, I would love that freelance. So this way I know everyone is in the same boat as I am, and it's not going to be, oh yeah, they had the 2 stack, the 3 stack. But I'm sorry, Nomad, you was going to continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm finished. That was my point.
I completely forgot.
Oh no, for me, that's. I watched the debate over the weekend. Everybody's like, "Don't jump the gun. The population is big," and that was one of the things that I saw a lot of people talking about with regards to, because as you said, I played 70 matches. My win rate was about 21%. It was pretty rough, because I did 2 cards. I did each 1 to 7 wins. I did first Ferocity, because the 3 turned into 4, got me my wins faster. Then I switched it over to Wealth, so I got more ranking points to level up that way. It seemed to have some benefit. And going through that, as I said, the times when I matched with mixes for me felt good. But there was like a slew when I was at like 3 or 4 wins on my second card. 3 stack, 3 stack, 3 stack, 3 stack, 3 stack, 3 stack. And I'm like, this hurts. And those are the moments when I'm like, if everybody was freelance or everybody was like your 3 stacks, that would balance things out. But then you have the division. You think now versus you think 5 months from now. The end of Season of the Lost, when the population gets smaller, and then people are wondering, okay, how divided are the playlists going to be then? How many people are still going to be playing? What is the matchmaking going to look like? Console, as you have both Xboxes, all the PlayStations, you have all of those, and Stadia, those 5 people, all of that grouped in together.
For respect on Stadia, Nick.
No, but you have
10 of them. All 10 of them.
I think the console pool actually could probably manage split, because it is so big. When you go to PC, you already have the certain number of people in there. Then you have like somewhat sweaty mouse and keyboard ultra sweats in there. The 3s are going to be like, what in that? Like, they're going to walk into, basically the OK Corral and try and dodge all the crazy bullets. And then the freelance, that may incentivize more people to go into freelance, depending on it. So there's this whole debate over like splitting the playlist. Those like console, I think, could manage. And if they tried it there to see, I can understand PC being a smaller pool. But I was like, there are times when I was in there, I was like, if I could just have a freelance playlist, I could at least enjoy my time. Whether I win or lose, at least I know I'm like, you're gonna play against like one person on a solo stack that's like, yeah, that one dude carried their whole team. And I was in the same boat. Like, I did well on one, and I was like, I had a 9.0 in one match, and I was like, holy crap. But on the other side, I also had like 0.5, and a dude carried my butt through that win. So I was like, you have those mixes, but if it's 3s against a mix, it is rough. But also, people are like, we just got the population to a good place. Everybody's scared to say, if you divide it, is that going to hurt it? And I just don't know. And that's why I was like, I don't know the right answer there. And that's the biggest one, is I don't know the numbers. I don't know how much we got. We saw a crap ton, from Destiny Trials report, the number of players that queued. I would be curious to see, and even I guess like a mix for me would be like every 3rd weekend, every 2nd weekend, every 4th weekend, you get a freelance playlist that's a guaranteed in rotation. So you don't split them all the time, but that solo player still has an opportunity, not too far away, that they can go play flawless. Because if they're worried about the pop, and they could like balance it and see like, hey, this weekend we've got it, this weekend we don't, and kind of see what the numbers are like. Just wondering if that would even work, since we don't know yet.
It might work, as long as it's telegraphed and marketed ahead of time, like this revamp was. Like, say, hey, this is Solo's playlist is coming out. Just like, even if it's a TWAB mention. the point is you need to make people aware about it. You need to encourage people to actually try it out. And whether you do that with better loot or you do that with a different take on the game mode, whatever, I think wondering if the population will hold is a valid concern.
Yeah.
But it's also, we have to remember we are completely in uncharted territory right now. Like, we've never had this many players in trials. We've never had this many matches in trials. 6-month season in probably the most stacked holiday season coming up that I can even remember. Yeah, populations can take a hit, and probably as soon as like November. But like it really is a case of crossing that bridge when we get to it, and then making the right decision based on the data available, but crucially also having an open and frank conversation about it too. Leaving people in the dark and leaving the game mode to suffer, that will be way worse than any decision made about solo freelance being made permanent or not.
Agree. Trav?
Yeah, I'm not really sure on that one. Part of me thinks maybe the purpose of keeping the solo and duo players in the main playlist is because they're not supposed to be going flawless, really. I mean, maybe you'll have a fluke once or twice, but for the most part, if you're playing there, you're just trying to get your card wins and, grind your loot and that sort of stuff. And I appreciate that. The problem is that it means that players like me, if the player base remains as high as it is, are basically just never going to get to play trials against other people who are in squads, which maybe that's not the purpose of trials anymore. I'm not really sure. It is totally uncharted territory, but yeah, I think it could work, but I don't really have. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But it's clear they're sort of responding quickly. I mean, we saw new tweaks in the TWAB, which maybe we should get into now.
Like,
but
that's
the transition.
Yeah,
the transition.
Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, I'm not sure they have an answer yet. I think they're probably going to wait a couple more weekends and see what happens to the player counts before they make any decision like that, which I think is probably smart.
Yeah,
I agree with Trav. I think it's Bungie seems to wait on the analytics and the data before they move. The vibe I get from them is, and we'll get into it, is this is like a stage process, and I think for them the initial goal was population. That it was just too low. No one's playing it. We have to do something. The changes catered strongly towards that. Now it's a matter of, okay, we got to address these other issues, the tweaks, and I'll let you go because it's a perfect transition, like Travis said.
Yeah, no, I mean, the TWAB is one of the biggest things they mention are the upcoming changes, and there's even a tweet that a couple definitely points of contention. I'll be curious. Tomorrow, there will be a few changes going live for the second week of Trials of Osiris 4 Season of the Lost. They're not satisfied with matchmaking experience for players after 7 wins. And I didn't notice that. When I sat at 7 wins, I was just getting stomped constantly. Hence why I actually reset my card to go try. That was very frequent. That area of matchmaking has a significantly higher rate of 5-0 games than we would like. Sounds about right. So we are enabling a flawless matchmaking pool. However, we want to make sure that there are enough flawless players to maintain good matchmaking times, so we're waiting until Friday afternoon to turn this on. And we will be watching player reactions and matchmaking analytics all weekend to make sure it's behaving properly. Now, Fallout tweeted to Cosmo about this, and he actually got a reply, because Fallout asked, yo, pretty sure I know the answer, but just double checking. The flawless matchmaking, are you still in that new flawless pool even after you reset your card? Or are you in that pool when your card is at 7-0 flawless? And Cosmo replied, once you go flawless for the week, you start by trying to match with other flawless folks. It may eventually resort to matching against non-flawless, but it resets every weekend. So if you get a flawless ticket at any point in the weekend, you are now considered flawless, in that 7-0 matchmaking, it sounds like. So before I go any farther, because that literally happened not that long ago, I wanted to get kind of everybody's thoughts, especially the two more hardcore who may get stuck in the flawless at that point.
I want to hit Trav.
Yeah, my initial thought to this was that the longer the weekend goes on, the easier it's going to be for everyone to go flawless, because all the people who are already flawless are going to be in a separate matchmaking playlist. And so I like that there's a way for flawless people to play against other flawless. I think that's great, but it makes me wonder, like, is everyone going to be in that playlist by the end? Because then you're only playing against people who haven't gone flawless yet. And I haven't seen it in action yet, so I have no idea, but that was my first thought is, dang, so if you want to go flawless, just wait till Monday morning, hop on with your friends, and only end up in a crew of people who aren't good enough to have gone flawless by Monday yet. Like, that's just, That seems crazy to me.
Now you're gonna
that
start
could be an
ranking.
option.
You got a Friday flawless. That's hard. Saturday flawless is
Yeah.
like medium. Sunday flawless, a little casual.
Yeah.
And then like Monday flawless, like
Monday
you just
flawless, everybody
just-
come on in.
yeah, you
White
got
House
that-
is open.
No,
Yeah, like
the real time is Tuesday morning before.
yes.
oh,
Tuesday
yeah.
morning.
Ooh, that's a cream right there. Yeah, I think like because sometimes like this weekend, for example, I didn't even get to play until Monday because I was super busy with reviews over the weekend. So like I'm worried that like I'll have missed the boat. Like my trials experience is basically going to be like, all right, you just smash these children in the face and then you can start playing with your boys. I just don't feel like that's a good opening to my trials weekend. So
You don't want to go pull up on the playground and start challenging.
I
kids?
don't, dude. I don't, man. I'm not trying to.
Hey,
I'm not trying to fight
you
an
and me,
8-year-old.
Cog, you and me. Monday night, we got
Monday night.
Yeah. You just
Let's
Tuesday
go.
morning.
You guys
Good
can use the
morning.
stop padding, eh?
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
I need my training wheels. Let's go.
So
Yeah, no, man.
my view on this is it's tricky. I'm very hesitant to give reactions to things we haven't seen yet. But on the face of it, this is gonna suck for people who like to help people to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's gonna absolutely suck.
Yeah.
Carries are not gonna happen, or they're gonna happen, but they're gonna be harder for a lot of people. It is interesting that you said that, like what Travis said, it's like eventually, if the population holds and the people keep playing and they are encouraged to keep playing because they know the sweaty people won't be in their playlist, everybody will go flawless. And then what happens there is they'll get their flawless and be like, okay, I'm just going to be matching with like 2.3s and 3.3s and 4.3s. I'm out.
So
you'll
they'll
see
do
an
it
increase
once.
So what I'm predicting
Yeah.
is you might actually see a net increase or rather the same amount of people going flawless if the population holds, but way less matches played.
Mm.
So when you see the trials report statistics at the end of on Monday or Tuesday, I think we're going to see maybe a third reduction in matches because you're going to see people playing less. You're going to have the average players and above average players. They might stick around. They might give it a go. They might, like, you know, if you have a chance for an adept Shayura at the end of the match or adept flawless weapon, you know, facing off against another 7-0 team, another flawless team is, well, it's earned, right? You did that once, you should do it again. So idealistically, makes perfect sense. In reality, not sure about this. I think it'll kill the replayability for a lot of players. Sweats will play
Actually,
regardless.
before you go, Cog, one more thing I realized that I think it might be a problem. People who are trying to grind for god rolls on weapons or armor or what have you, I could see them intentionally throwing cards so that they can stay in the non-flawless matchmaking lists for the week. And then they're just getting to 6 wins, throwing the matches, or just resetting their cards, and then just doing that over and over again to grind for stuff. So just like we had when the initial trials relaunch, where people were losing after the 3rd match or resetting their cards so that they could just crush the easy matches, I could see that happening because of the way the loot game works now. So like I said, like matchmaking and this whole system, it's going to introduce new complexities that we haven't thought of yet, and I think that's possibly one of them.
Hey, go ahead. I see you.
No, I'm just like, I'm
literally
literally reading the feedback from Twitter as I'm going through because it's coming here. So Grenader Jake, wait, so even if I reset my card after going flawless, I'm going to match flawless teams the rest of the weekend. That will make helping people flawless kind of tough, as you guys stated. Couldn't I just avoid this by resetting my card at 6 wins every time and stopping myself from going flawless? That's one. It is confirmed. Is it character or account based? It is account based. So it's even broader. They said they will be watching both analytics and feedback and trying to balance fast matches with good matches across the player base. It's definitely not set in stone. Those were the big 3. I'm trying to see if Cosmo replied to anything, but those were a couple big ones. And even Fallout's reply was just ... Oh. So I mean, you can kind of read, you can read his thoughts on that one. But yeah, it's like carries is going to be tough, but also in turn, it's like, are they trying?
Actually, that's the solution to carries, though, isn't it? Like if you're carrying someone Nomad, you can just get to 6 wins and reset your card and let the person you're carrying get the 7th win. So then 100%. You would just do that, and then you go flawless at the end of the week. Like on Monday, you go and make Cog and E cry on Monday morning.
Yeah, we'll go and be like, who's this guy? This guy's not supposed to be here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's really strange. Like I understand that it will, but this is the thing I don't understand is they said that the reason for doing this is that they found that most matches at 7 were resulting in 5-0s, right?
Yes.
Or higher than expected percentage. And that was actually my experience. I can confirm that. When I was doing my helps and I was carrying people in my server and in my clan, one of us would actually just, do you have a flawless card? And usually be me or my other carry partner, and say, yeah, okay, we're going to queue in on your lead. So we queued in for flawless games when other people were at 0, and we had easier matches the whole way through. So there was something broken. There was 100% something that needed to be fixed. But I'm not really sure that locking flawless people behind flawless tickets only is the right way to go, especially given that 30% of the population went flawless.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a good solution to me. But then again, it's one weekend, and they said they might change it. So let's give it a go. Let's. I'm not optimistic about it. I don't think really anybody is when you think about it for more than 2 seconds. But
it doesn't solve the problem.
It doesn't solve the
problem.
Anyway.
I was like,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think this comes back to what I was basically arguing for last week is a lot of us who listen to podcasts, watch videos, who are deep enough into this game to be kind of in-depth in it, whether it's skill or otherwise, are still probably that like 20-30% of people who are not what Bungie is probably trying to cater half of these decisions towards. Like, you have a very solo, casual audience who doesn't even like look at YouTube videos, who just logs in to do some strikes, and they're looking at this and saying, hey, we still have a vast chunk of our player base who might be able to engage on Tuesday, but if we can get them to engage a little bit more on a weekend, they're going to have a player base that sticks around more frequently. Maybe they go after some ornaments. Maybe they spend more in the Eververse store. It's still that business side of things that I think for them, they're trying to say, yeah, there's an angry minority, but the vast majority is what some of these decisions are for. And this feels like one of those is all I'm saying. It feels like it leans into a lot of the people that we don't typically think about because we're not those people.
All right. Well, it gives that angry minority a lot of chances to just like game the system, and you know what I'm saying? Like the card reset thing is
you're not wrong.
The problem. So.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely valid concerns. I'm not going to sit there and say that these concerns are not valid. I just think, like Nomad said, 1 week, let's see what happens first. That's the first thing. Second, I think it's one of those situations, kind of like what you said, where you look at the whole, you look at the percentage, and then how do we now address the flawless run, right? How do we address that so that there's no exploitation there? But to me, it's a bigger issue than all of that. And to me, my concern is actually that with this system and the initial success of the system, this is going to put a lot of pressure on them to now have solid rewards that match it, because this first week was Reed's regret. And granted, it was worth doing it. It's a Stasis linear fusion. It's the season of the fusion, linear fusion right now. We all got that particle deconstruction mod or whatever it's called. And that is a high reward, something to chase for, right? The pressure to me is on the loot and the reward team for people to go in there, because at the end of the day, we could farm and people could farm. But once the elite get what they want, for the most part, unless they're doing carries, yes, they're going to be out. And the majority, it's going to still serve that majority who is more casual, who will pop in here and there, that gets to the season late. To me, it comes down to the reward teams now as well, and them stepping up so that each week trials is introduced, there are new weapons, new things. And that's something I've always had the boot on their neck on, even with Iron Banner. You know, thank God we got the peace bond and the stasis thing, you know what I'm saying? Because that made me, okay, I got to get an Iron Banner. But other than that, the PvP rewards in comparison to the PvE, there's always been a negative disparity. And I want to see even exotics. I want to see stuff like how we had, me and Travis talk about the Pinnacle days, right? There needs to be reason and incentive to properly get into PvP, to get those weapons and armors or whatever that you can't get elsewhere. And that's the one that I'm fear-mongering. I'm like, Bungie, y'all have yet to prove to me that you guys are going to be consistent, because the minute we did have something, goodbye Mountaintop, goodbye Recluse, goodbye. Like, I got my babies neutered. You know what I'm saying? So that's all my main concern. But I
mean,
understand where everyone's
and that's a real concern because, as other people say, is if you get to the point where now, as you guys say, by Monday, 50-60% of the population has gone flawless. If you do this for 6 or 7 weeks, potentially depending on how drops are going, you're going to have at least one of potentially every adept weapon now as an even average player. Possibly if you play on that like Tuesday morning, you might get the hookup. But like, then is that the point? Like, how long does that carrot on the stick out there? If you like, I've done the sweaty trials, it's fun for a little bit, gives me a little bit of a reward. How long will that last? And again, what is that going to do to the population? But these are all tough things because they're trying to get people into the playlist, period,
of course.
to get them to start. But then how long do they stay? And this is a 6-month season, so it's going to be an abnormal one anyway. But when you turn around and say, like, hey, once you've got the weapon, are they going to go back in there? Have you given them enough of a reason? Is it fun enough experience? Is it something that they can get something out of? Or have they got all they need and they're out? And that's one thing I think only time is going to tell. But as you said, if they don't keep making new armor, new weapons, new cosmetics, new changes to these things on a consistent basis, which we typically have not seen, that is setting us up for failure at some point, especially.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Step 2 of the TWAB.
Are we about to? Okay, cool.
No, I was like,
we're still talking about Crucible.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Because I just I want to make sure we get in our long running segment before.
Oh no, we haven't even got to that yet. Don't you worry. Cool. Things went out of order from my plan, but we'll get there. I got you. I'm going to tee it up and everything. You just beat me to it. Okay.
Amazing.
So they said they're also not happy with the experience of players who have a bad streak of getting repeatedly thrashed 5-0. So we are enabling some matchmaking help if someone runs into several blowout matches. This temporary help mechanic clears up once they start winning again, so don't think someone will cheese a flawless by tanking for a few games and then have a weekend of smooth sailing. Thoughts?
Yes, that's me. I was on the run, man. I was like, yo, I might be able to do it. Solo back.
I just figured out a new rule for your and Ebontis's. So here's what you do: you log on Friday and you get 5 losses. And then you wait till that Monday morning, that Tuesday morning.
I'm done with you. I'm done.
They're going to be like, here's that flawless on your silver platter. Enjoy.
That's the strat right there. That's the strat, guys.
So get those losses in early.
Get the losses in early.
Log on Tuesday morning before reset.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my video tomorrow. What's going to be more valuable, Zur video or how to cheat the system at trials? That's probably the way to go, I think. Yeah.
That was classic. Classic. Yeah, we got to see how this gonna go. But that was my thing because there were a couple of moments where I'm like, yo, I'm doing good. Every match made team, I'm carrying. I'm feeling good. I might be able to. And shout out to Forte, he actually did it. But every time I got to 5 wins, bro, I would always see that double clan name on the other side, that 3 stack on the other side. And I'm not one to yell at my blueberries, but damn it, they were failing me badly, bro. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? Stop getting.
Where are you going? Why did nobody had my butt over here on the other? Like, I'm looking here, and there's 2 of you behind me. What are you doing,
bro?
And I'm not even that skilled. Yeah,
that's when I became Travis. And I was like, if you damn guys I can communicate with you, and you can tell you stop getting picked. And I said, you know what? The advantage of the match made squad, because that is how it should go. That we should get stopped, right? But if it's in a matchmaking playlist, in my opinion, it's where the freelance gotta come back in. But we gotta see. I just struggle with the algorithm, unless the population is still not big enough, right? I just struggle with the algorithm still putting me up against 2 stacks and 3 stacks. I just don't know how the matchmaking algorithm works there. It's just very interesting, but I definitely felt it, bro, because it took away chances for me to attempt it. So I don't know what you guys thought.
I think it prioritizes how many wins you have on your card to how many people you have in your fire team. And so yeah, clearly the playlists are big, but it's still a minority of players in Destiny. So
Yep. What do you guys think, Nomad? What you think?
Nomad, any thoughts about the whole 5-0 matchmaking?
You got to protect the average player. You have to make sure that their experience isn't a negative one. From what I've seen, I feel like for a lot of people who were getting thrashed, for a lot of people who were struggling in the playlist, for them at least there was loot.
Yeah.
At least that was what made it all better. Is the round wins, the reputation, all that. That will get old. They'll get their loot, they'll get their roles that they want, and they'll be happy with that. And then, like we said before, it's like, is the core experience fun enough to keep playing? And if the core experience for them is getting thrashed 5-0, you got to address that. And I think they're right to address it. I'm not sure if artificially taking people out of a pool and putting them into another artificial pool within the same pool is the solution. I'm not sure if it's going to be implemented well, and I'm not sure if it's going to be implemented in such a way that degrades match quality and puts people from across the world together just because they're 0-5. So there's a lot of unknowns here. There's a lot of question marks, but the fact that they're trying this, and the fact that they're even trying to address that, even messing with the matchmaking algorithm in ways we've never seen before.
Yeah, I've never seen this. Yeah,
that's interesting to me. That I think somebody who's running the show is very sharp and very switched on, because that's an experiment I've never seen before.
And just to jump in, that's what's giving me hope, because as a neglected PvP lover, to see that level of transparency and quick transparency gives me hope that they are paying attention, because as Travis, we know, bro, we don't get no love on this side. Our community, we don't get no love, bro. It's like the PvP mains, we're dying out here. and to see them even talk about it, I'm like, oh, Daddy's spending time with me today.
If I can give a Bungie please for this thing, I'm fine. I'm fine with Bungie doing this rule where if you lose 5 times, you get added to a separate playlist. But after Trials is over, on Tuesday at reset, Bungie must release a full, unabridged list of all the gamer tags that were in that playlist over the weekend, if they ever appeared. And there's a separate sub-list on that of people who ended the weekend in that playlist, people who stayed there, right? I want that to be published. Then it'll be okay.
Oh, no, you sound like
that sound?
You want public shaming right there.
And the top of that list, Tie Guy Travis.
Yeah, exactly. Top of the list, Tie Guy Travis. He lost those 5 matches on Friday, and he forgot to log in on Tuesday morning. He overslept.
He got stuck in a review, and man, we're just first one in. Travis got in at 12:05. Everybody else followed right behind.
The first team to enter that playlist, I should get one of those belts that the raid teams get.
I think you get don't you get suspenders? This isn't anything to brag about. You get like the carry suspenders that you need.
I'm done. Classic.
No, but I all seriousness, I'm fine with this. I don't think it really bothers anybody. I think it will be important that they not let this like they said, they say don't worry, they'll get out of this playlist once they get a few wins. That needs to happen, but we'll see how it affects the playlist. I don't really care about this, to be clear.
One more thing they are adding this weekend is quitter penalties, which is good. Can't tell you how many people got couple rounds in, you'd see somebody drop out. They're like, it's a 3 stack. I already lost 2. Let me get out of here. Then you completely screw your entire rest of them. There's no incentive not to. They're just going to go find another match.
Yeah, I hated playing against 3v2s. It
me too. Yeah. It sucked, bro. Now, no matter, I'm with you. It didn't happen to me, but I faced teams that we stomped them first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And one of their guys with that pussy left, and I'm like, that's messed up. Don't do those 2 dudes like that.
On the flip side, there are lots of emote parties and trials. Lots of high fives with the enemy teams. Lots of the airplane emote. But like,
bro, I got a lot of GGs post match. Yeah. People were happy to play, but we got to fix. They got a serious penalty for guys that do it. Not no trials. You can't do that. Bro.
Going back to the question, what would make it competitive?
There we go. That's another one. That's another one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next week, so this Friday is this week that we're talking about. The following week, which will be 23rd, 24th, I guess, math-wise. In addition to our first Trials Labs, spoiler alert, it is a capture zone trials. will be actually a different mechanic to trials. We will be disabling the special ammo replenishment on revive. I didn't know it did that, or I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't know on revive you get your special ammo back. Is that?
Yeah.
I'm just apparently that unaware.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you get your special ammo back.
Mhm.
Well,
Not that you want to
That's
throw.
why I always carry that shotgun primed.
Yeah,
to
you
res, boom.
you don't want to throw, obviously, just so you get a bit more special ammo. That's silly. You put your team a man down, but like, yeah, that was the thinking. I'm surprised it wasn't. It is a thing.
Yeah, it's like
right
that
now.
seems like something. Yeah. So we'll be disabling special ammo replenishment on revive. You still get special ammo if you kill someone or when you start the next round. That seems practical. I didn't know the other one was there. They said they're also disabling the matchmaking counter on the Trials of Osiris lobby. You won't be able to tell how many players have joined, but will be told when they join. We also fixed an issue preventing you from being able to masterwork weapons from Saint 14's the rank rewards. Apparently you couldn't masterwork the couple that they showed if you went through the ranks. I saw Cool Guy tweet about this probably first. He may have not been the first, but it was the first one that came into my thread about
Cool
like
Guy,
if they saw 5 to 6, then they were good because they're like, okay, we got 2, waiting on 1 more as opposed to just switching in. So between the leaving penalties and then also the fact that you can't see the counter, people can't hunt down the solos or the 2s or the singles as a 3 stack, which it's already random enough for us solos. You 3 shouldn't get another advantage to be like, oh look, here's a good one like that.
Or was it random? I'm not convinced it was as random as you think. I think the reason you got matched up against so many people is because the 3 stacks were hunting for solo queuers and duo queuers.
Yeah, so that'll be coming. So that'll be next week. Yeah. So it's like, and again, as you said, Cog, like these are fast. This week we've got this many changes coming in to check on matchmaking, see what the flawless does. That'll be a work in progress probably. Next week, now we've got matchmaking, the penalties come in. You've got the lobby that you can't see, the special ammo. They're actively watching trials on a weekly basis to really try and give this some nourishment, which as you guys have said, it's been, what, 2 years since we've had a map and all this renewed focus. Like it's been so long to see this much focus on it is weird.
It's really weird to see this much focus on it with no like seasonal content directed toward it, no new maps, no new game modes. It's like, wow, they're really all in for you know how much they're not giving us anything. They're sure giving us a lot of attention.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's exciting though.
I completely agree with you, Travis, because it's like at the end of the day, and this is where I'll die on my soul with Travis on this one, is that, you know, I know about those House of Wolves days, and I remember, you know, it was dark out here. There was no raid that season, and that's when Trials of Osiris debuted. And I don't care what anyone say, like Trials had Destiny on its back. PvP had it on its back, and to see that renewed focus towards it goes to show you that if you put the time, the resources, and dedication, you can keep this game alive with a pillar that you've already proven you've done it before in D1, right? So now to see them with this level of agility and transparency, this is what I want to continue to see, because when Trials is good and when PvP is good, look what this game does. Look at the engagement you get. It should be a stark reminder to them. Yeah, we need, this is a core pillar of the experience, not an added experience. This is core, and keep on, man. And I love it. This is great to see. Keep on with it, man. We got.
I've always thought that they should since they have these long seasons and they only use like 6 weeks of it for the PvE content. I've always thought, why don't they do the second half of the season where nothing's happening? Why don't they make that the PvP focused stuff and do Iron Banner and Trials and the new map releases and all that stuff then in those gaps where we have nothing and people are looking for ways to extend their Destiny playtime anyway? And it's kind of weird the timing of this too, because the PvE story still isn't done. It's actually kind of at its climax and they're doing all of this. So I'm interested to see if they continue to do this like long into the season, because we got a long season ahead of us, and this is not the time I expected them to be focusing on PvP as much as they are. But it's refreshing for sure.
Agreed.
I imagine they're going to have some things in the 30th anniversary that they haven't really released yet. But when you consider that they made some promises, some pretty overt promises through that massive Twitter thread, and then also in some of the showcase notes as well, that they really want to make the goal is to be consistent, right? And in order to be consistent, you have to have the structures and the processes in place in your organization to build upon, because consistency is just a series of really, really well functioning parts and all producing a tangible outcome reliably. And when you consider what we've just come from, months and months and months and months, years of silence, snippets, a line or two in a TWAB,
Talk about it.
a one-off podcast, which was great, by the way, with Firing Range, and then like the odd like featurette in a balancing pass, and then some comments on Reddit. Like this isn't feedback. This isn't content. This isn't communication. These are literally crumbs. You know. So what they're doing here, we are talking about the stark contrast. We are talking about like, yeah, they're listening, they're going all in. But for me, I think this is just like the necessary groundwork that they need to do if they want to set out the goals that they could very publicly declare, saying, hey, we want to be consistent. Well, you got to be consistent communicators. You have to learn how to do that. You have to be okay with changing things on the fly and being okay with getting the ridiculously harsh feedback that PvP players are not afraid to give. Because I don't think there is a single more virulently passionate section of the fan base aside from PvP. And part of it is neglect, part of it is passion. I don't know, call it what you want. But you have to be okay with listening to that side of the community and then acting upon what they suggest. Which you don't have to listen to them completely, but assess what they say and then weigh that against your design priorities and go from there. So what they're doing right now, to me, it's really, really good. But it's also, if they didn't do this, I'd be really, really concerned about their promises.
Yeah.
Me and Travis said it week after week. We're like, yo, do they even care about it? Have the resources going to the new IP matter? Is PvP something they even want to continue? I mean, we've had deep discussions because, like you said beautifully, that Nomad, like it was bursting breadcrumbs. There was seasons upon season at some point, right, that there were nothing. There was literally no mention of PvP, and that was very concerning. So to me, to see this level shows that there is a recommitment. We know that they're still hiring, they're still doing things. Obviously we know the work's not done. We need maps, we need, the reward system. We're not there. But what I like is let's build and fix the foundation of the house. That's how I look at this. This is house foundation stuff, right? Once we get the house right, then we can expand and get the greater goods. And now I have confidence that they care about me, that they care about us. Daddy's talking to us again. I was feeling the way E was getting all the love. E, every TWAB is all about E and his wants and his armor and all this. And poor Cog and Trav sitting here suffering like neglected children. And finally, Daddy told me to play with us again.
Daddy came in with the Gucci.
Second time I've been rejected.
I was gonna say somebody's gonna read into this podcast and be like, "Cog, how's childhood? You okay?
How's your childhood life?
Is he okay?"
I think this is probably the second time Cog and I are experiencing child or fatherhood neglect. Probably.
Your dad will be back any day now.
That's what you know what?
But Travis, that's what he told us last time.
That's what he told us last time. He said he's going to be back.
And he's with a renewed focus, right?
Yes, renewed.
Yeah, and Nomad, I'll have you know, Cog and E know me as a PvP main who has very soft takes. I don't take really hardline positions. I'm not. I'm really not passionate.
Yeah.
You're level-headed. You're just an everyman.
Yeah, completely.
An
everyman.
Chill.
Yeah.
Well, that is a perfect time to take us into our long-running segment. I'm going to pass it over to Travis. Sir, the floor is yours.
All right, Ascendant Nomad, welcome. I am glad I get to talk to you because I saw your episode with Ebontis and Cog before I was a regular on the show, and I thought you had some pretty great insights. We have a long-running segment on the show, and long-running meaning that this is like the third time we've done it, and I love to do it every chance I get. And it's a segment called Let's Help Ebontis. And the purpose of the segment is we bring PvP mains onto the show, and I have them give us their top tip for a player who has a 0.43 KDA ratio in Crucible and really, really would like to improve. What are your top tips? So on the show, I think previously I have mentioned, or somebody else has mentioned, the 2-second rule, which I think is really crucial. I know you did a video recently where you did the 2/6 rule. It was a something, or 40-60 rule is what you called it. Or somebody else did that. So basically, whatever your top tip is for somebody who's trying to finally cross that threshold to being serious and starting to climb the mountain that is Crucible. So that's the segment. And if you want to take a moment to think of it, we can really just like flame Ebontis in the chat while you compose your thoughts.
Sure. I do want to shout out the creator for the 40-second rule. His name is Shadow Destiny, and I think you guys should have him on. He's really well spoken. His rule, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a positioning rule. And basically 40% of your screen, whether you're peeking from the left or the right of your screen, outside of cover, 40% of your screen should be occupied by a piece of cover. Now, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more intricacies to it. And obviously, rules are there to be broken for certain situations, but that's the crux of it. And you should go check out that video because it is very, 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 very good. But to help Ebontis, I think we need to go to something much more rudimentary, I think. Do you eat your veggies?
Yes.
Do you get 8 hours of sleep a day?
We know he flosses.
He flosses, okay.
He flosses.
But what about your teeth?
Pretty good.
Yeah? Okay. You call your mom?
Yep.
That was good. That was
okay.
good.
Let's think.
We've gone.
Yes.
I joked in your intro. I gave you different classes for Scrub Mentality 101, Iron Banner 212.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm in kindergarten right now, so this is going over real well. Thanks.
Okay.
A kindergarten, really.
So
the blueberry.
You're aware that.
Where's this going?
This is forward. You go up here. You move around with the right stick here. Oh, okay.
Mouse and keyboard, sir.
Hold on, do I have to show?
This is great.
So here's
right,
W.
There's W.
There's W. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
A.
Okay. A is to go left. Okay.
What's this one do? What's the big bar in the bottom? I gotta know.
That's called Shadow Dive. It's really, really useful. It's really, really. But we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there right now. Ebontis, because that's a skill move. Okay.
Oh.
And we need to get you. We need to get you up and going with the basics. Okay. So you're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing really, really well. I'm gonna make sure you get a sticker at the end of this. But we need to go in increments.
I want my ribbon. Is it blue?
No. You get your ribbon once you graduate. Okay.
I like that.
It's important.
All right.
It's important.
Okay. No, seriously. You know what's my biggest tip for people who are aside from 2-second rule, 40-60 rule, that is to find weapons you're comfortable with, meta be damned, and stick with them. Because when you are trying to get good, think about all the things you need to get good at. You need to get good at your positioning, obviously. You need to get good at reading the map, understanding how the map plays. You need to get good at reading your radar. You need to get good at using your abilities in the right place at the right time. You need to get good at timing your supers. You have to get good at taking advantage of opponents doing whatever it is they do. And you have to be aware of just your general presence and whether or not you're in danger, whether you're far from your team. There's a whole lot of shit to think about. Pardon my French.
You're good.
And you can't do any of that if you're using weapons you're not comfortable with.
Preach.
It's like trying to run a marathon in shoes you haven't even worn before.
Yes, good point.
You
break them in.
You have to break them in. You have to break in your play style. You have to break in your own sense of self in the Crucible by using weapons that you're comfortable with. And the best way to do that, obviously, is in PvE. That's the best way to get comfortable with the weapons that you have. So until you can do that, and until you can, crucially, not only just feel comfortable with your weapons, but actually be able to hit body shots reliably. Forget crits for a second, but just being able to body shot people without thinking. That's the step one, and then we can start thinking about all the other ways which you need to improve.
You have a super chat.
I know. Gaming Forte over here. Time. Stop picking on Ebontis.
But he's so right. No man, you're so right because it's funny. I know what the meta is. I know a lot of people right now. Vex is the rage, and I get it. Vex is out here, and it was doing work. But like, I am so comfortable with my messenger. But surprised when I get crap on from a lot of teammates, they be like, "Why are you using Lord of Wolves?" I'm just comfortable. Like it's not meta. I mean, it's good, but I would say it's not meta, and it's something about it. I've clutched up so many times when there were situations where people were closing. I'm terrible when people close distance on me fast. Like where like these hunters, they're all over the place. I'm up in the air. I'm like, where? And then they hone down on me, and it's a wrap. And there's something about Lord. I could just backpedal or be aggressive, and I have a good range with it. And I've gotten so many kills with it. And it's like I can't peel it off because it's like it's you made a good point. It's like when you are comfortable with something and then you have success, it reinforces it mentally.
Positive reinforcement, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and now I can't take it off because it's my safety net. That's my baby. This has helped me through tough times, that kind of thing. And it may not be the number one meta in the spot, but I do good with it. I like it.
Shout out to Angry for calling me out hardcore. I miss my go figure, but that was that was one of my babies in Crucible for a while because it range, the feel, and like my role as well. I felt like I could hit shots that I shouldn't be able to. And there were moments where I was like, I was doing things in my head. I'm like, it feels good. I feel like I shouldn't even be doing this with this weapon, but it felt good. And that was one of mine that got stripped from me, sadly. But pulses are still.
You didn't like sunsetting then?
That was if we're gonna go down this argument, but yes. But I mean, that's kind of thing. It is 100% true. Like, don't be like, oh, you need to use Messenger with Desperado. You're like, if that weapon fires too slow, you feel like you don't have enough leeway. It's like, find what works for you. Honestly, like I saw a cool guy talk about Scavelock. The fact that thing is actually back. I know it's an auto rifle, and half of this podcast probably hates auto rifles, but I know Cog does.
I hate auto rifles. Don't feel it should be the. I just don't feel it should be the top meta.
If you like Vex, you can't hate auto rifles.
Hey.
I'm not a Vex guy. I purposely go against. I don't
really.
Use
oh my god, dude! I was crushing it,
bro. I'm weird like that where I don't know if Nomad can relate to this. Like I'm anti-meta when everybody's using it. I'm like, I don't want to use it. Like it feels like the cheat button. And I know I should. I probably would do better. I know why I don't use it. The reason why I don't use it is because I can't use Lord of Wolves if I use it. And I love Lord of Wolves. And I don't have a kinetic equivalent that I'm comfortable. And for me, I don't have a good, shotgun or SMGs, which I like, that are in the kinetic spot. Maybe you guys can help me with that. Help Cog with a good kinetic equivalent to use with Vex because I prefer, to be honest, I can't. I prefer Messenger because it's something about it.
Blasphemer, Racewalker, Astral Horizon, Fractithist.
I don't have an Astral Horizon. What Fractithist role you going with, though? I do have a bunch of Fractices.
So the common knowledge or common sentiment would suggest something with slide shot and opening shot. I don't think you have to spec into range that hard. It definitely improves the consistency of it, but since precisions are range capped at 6 to 6.5 meters, it doesn't really matter. I would like slide shots very handy, opening shots very handy, quick draw is really handy. I would say go with something like quick draw just because I mean Vex can kind of handle short range, but
yes,
for those moments where you're not quite sure, whip it out quickly and you're off to the races.
The thing with me is not to cut you, is just that it's something I know. You ever have E could probably relate to this. You have weapons that are meta, but they're like when you use them, you're trash. Oh, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
that's how I feel with precision shotguns. Everybody else maps me across the map with Fractices and Chaperone.
That's not a slug. Chaperone is, but Fractis is not.
Yeah, but when I use it, it's like, how you gonna hit me with the get good? How you gonna hit me with... I saw that.
You gotta bring that up on stream so they can see.
You gotta bring it. He hit me with the get good. I'm terrible, man. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't get those one hit kills like everybody else. The only time I was able to do that was with what was the reign of the what was the shotgun that they nerfed that was the bar of everybody's existence? Legendary Solar.
Fellwinter.
If y'all had a Fellwinter's equivalent, It's something about that style shotgun. I can't use it.
The trial shotgun's actually pretty close. I
don't
think.
have it anymore.
Astral, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have Astral anymore.
Astral Horizons.
Yeah, that one.
Sunset.
Okay,
but
that actually
but
wasn't
honestly
in
though,
the
Cog,
list.
I say just stick with Felwinter's because like if it's working for you, it's working for you. And I'm like the opposite. I hate it when people nitpick over other people's loadouts. It's like, you know, I never look at other people's like armor mods. I never look at other people's loadouts. I just want to know if it's working for you, roll with it. If it isn't working for you, you got to change something because it's, you know, it's not working. But yeah, if Felwinter, or sorry, if Lord of Wolves is working for you, roll with it. And
bro, the loadout is too dominant for me because what happens is if I proc again, stopping my apes with Lord of Wolves, but if I proc Desperado, I put a clip up. I don't know if y'all saw it. E. I clutched.
Yeah, I saw that one,
bro. The whole team's down. It's 3v1. I got Desperado to proc, and I had my little ARC buddies with me with my getaway artists. They was snitching, telling me where they was at. It was a good day, man. I felt dominant. When I feel Desperado, I get cocky. I look for them. I mean, well, yeah, that's how I get with Desperado. So it's that combination just sits so perfect for me right now. So it is what it is. But
I love that you call outs snitching. That is my favorite. I'm for sure going to be using that terminology now when I run trials and be like, hey, let's remember to do your snitching. Remember to do everybody snitches everybody instead of
you're going to be getting stitches in here. What up?
I love it.
Bonus points if all three of you run Rat King.
Ooh.
Oh, even better because you're a rat. Get it?
Yes,
snitching?
very bonus as a rat.
There we go.
Cog won't be able to run it because
I can't run it.
Yeah, it's
an exotic. Yeah.
He
lives with that Felwinters.
But you know, on that point about being trash with meta, that's a byproduct of not exploring your own comfortability, your own comfort with different playstyles, with different archetypes of weapon. I had this issue all the time. Like I think in Destiny 1, I was a hand cannon main for sure, and I was hand cannon snipe main, and I didn't dare pick up like a clever dragon, even though I knew it shred. I didn't try a 900 RPM auto rifle from trials until it became like the most unavoidable option to use. And every single time I would suck with it for like a week to 2 weeks, and then I would be okay with it, but just okay. I wouldn't be actually very, very good with it. And the people who can pick up anything and just run with it, they've got enough of a repository of data of other similar weapons that have worked this way that they can draw upon, and then they take that knowledge and they adapt it and apply it, and obviously spend a shit ton of time in the Crucible adapting to the weapon. Just adapt, LMAO. But yeah, like I honestly wouldn't feel too bad about it because in the grand scheme of things, if you're struggling with using the meta options, it's not the worst thing in the world because right now the sandboxes. Yeah, I'm sorry, Travis. It's kind of balanced. It's actually kind of really well balanced right now.
Heard that from multiple people, like that it's probably in one of the better states in the grand scheme of Destiny for like time. It's in a decent place, I've heard.
So the fastest primary right now is the Peace Bond sidearm, 0.5.
I'm gonna give Peace Bond a shot. I have Peace Bond.
Which is balanced because it's, you know, like you have to be here to kill someone. Right. In terms of the mid-range primaries, 340 RPM pulse rifles are 0.67 time to kill. They're the fastest. And then the slowest one is a 120 RPM hand cannon at 1.0 time to kill. But then you don't do straight fights with 120s. You use cover and you peek out of cover and all that. The worst archetypes are, like, on paper, the worst archetypes are probably scout rifles, but, you know, who cares?
That's normal.
The scout rifles. But everything else...
And there's where you lose me on the it's kind of balanced. Just like an entire archetype, who cares?
No, but part of that is map design, too, because there's nothing for scouts to live.
That's true.
That's map design, and also think of how crap Crucible would be if it was all scout rifles.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and we've had that before, and it's not good.
They hated it.
Remember the Mida?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
The era of Mida multi-tool.
Era of Mida multi-tool. Yeah, so you're right.
Everything else is within 0.7 to 0.93 TTK, and that really is
Vex
the difference.
Mythoclast?
Vex Mythoclast is a 0.77.
Really?
Ooh. Which is the same.
That surprises me.
The same time to kill as a 720 RPM ultra rifle, which is like Chroma Rush.
Really?
Well, there's also, like, you know what I'm seeing a lot, like in trials, especially in end matches, was like the linear fusion rifles, like the new exotic one.
Lorenz.
Like Arbalest doesn't feel balanced to me, and the new Void fusion rifle as well. Like I think some of those are a little strange. Like
No, for
I
sure.
guess they're not any crazier than sniper rifles, but their TTK is instant, right? They get the shot off. And
like they got a very high aim
second.
assist, versus like a sniper. But there's the charge time, the placing and stuff. Like, I got definitely picked off a few times, but after a little while, I was like, I just can't, like, don't stand still, dumbass. Like that stuff I'm telling myself. And if I get hit with that, I'm like, I think that's a little on me.
So for me, the biggest indicator of what is an outlier is usually trials report if there's good data, and obviously because of this weekend we had amazing data. Vex Mythoclast is like nearly double the next one on the list, which is the Messenger, and
which is crazy considering a lot of people do not have it. That's the other thing you have to keep in mind.
That's the huge thing. See, to me, the Vex gets scary after the first kill. Because the damage profile completely changes.
Ash, baby, messenger.
What it really, the reason why Vex is meta is because people don't know how to position themselves for shit. That's my take on it. It's like,
I'll be tearing them up.
Like if you die to an auto rifle, you're out in the open, or maybe you peaked at the wrong time. But for Vex to have this much dominance, I imagine this is mostly console driven, because on PC, it's good, but I don't see it as much as like 140s. Quite
really.
Honestly. Yeah,
I'm on console and it's just everywhere, dude. Like it's just everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, PC.
You're right. I am getting a lot of cheap kills. People walking out into the open.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think the time to kill goes down to like a 0.7 or a 0.67 or something like that, and that's just very hard to deal with, no matter how good you're.
And then I activate my alternate fire mode and I just blast people.
There you go.
That's all I'm doing. Yeah.
Nomad, what's the top 3 primaries right now?
So
Vex, Messenger, Ace.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Vex, Messenger.
Oh yeah, Ace is good too. Damn.
Yeah, Ace is good. Ace is still good. Okay. I just want to get the idea. Okay, cool.
Followed by the Darkest Before.
We're
not calling it.
Yes, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing
that. Thorn, then Palindrome, and then the rest are all shotguns. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the dirty secret in the room, y'all? PvP mains. Sorry. Are y'all going up against? Out? Yeah, you see yourself out. Y'all seeing? I don't know if it's basically a stasis build where guys are putting up the walls pre-match, and then they shatter them, get the stasis fragment that gives them the overshield, and then you have to face them with the overshield. Like, that's pretty messy,
I've
man.
not seen that. That's crazy.
That is Whisper of Rhyme, and I'm sorry to say that I helped contribute to the problem because I made a video on it.
No, man, no.
If you have a full overshield with Whisper of Rhyme, which you can get very easily if you're on Hunter, you can tank a headshot from a aggressive sniper rifle, like a Frozen Orbit.
Bro, I was facing teams of those. It is intimidating when they come out from behind that wall, that stasis wall.
Now it only lasts 10 seconds, so by the time they get to you, they'll have the overshield, but they only have a couple of seconds of it. So you just kind of see it and you're like,
just bounce out. Okay, bro, it was. I was like, what are they doing? They were literally putting up walls, and then I'm like, what is happening? And why do they have overshields? That build, it was crazy.
I've not seen that. That's nuts, though.
Entire teams I was seeing doing it. Was trying.
There you go, Travis. Use that for your Tuesday morning runs.
I will, yeah. After the 5 loss Friday.
Got to make sure you're not on that list.
That's what we call it. We call the 5 loss Friday and the Tuesday morning triumphs.
There you go.
Salute.
Well, thank you guys for all the lessons. I've got this recorded so I can go back and learn. Got my yellow legal pad, taking notes. I'm good to go for
Remember, shatter dive skill option.
Gotcha.
Well,
and the stickers in the mail.
I'll give you a tutorial next time I'm on the show. Okay.
Sweet. See you next week.
I love it.
And this has been Let's Help Ebontis.
Yes.
Our long-running segment.
Yeah. That's the best part, is because he was all into like, oh, let's make this a segment. Second time. Our long running segment. I'm like, dude, it's been one time. It's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Come on.
It's called bootstrapping, okay? It's I'm trying to make it seem like it's legit.
It's good because I was really curious about what this long running segment was.
Was it worth
that's the same thing
the
I
wait?
do with the ties. Yeah, I wear the ties. People think that I'm serious, and then they hear me talk, and they're like, "Who is this guy?" I thought he was a reliable source of information. Yeah, it's great.
You're
It's
on
good.
the internet. That's all the reliability you need these days.
That's it, man. That's
That's it. I have a Twitter account. Knows how to type.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you need. Well, the last thing I wanted to cover, just because we got about 15 minutes before this man goes to have dinner with his wife.
Wife.
Girlfriend.
Sorry.
She's been hounding me on that,
bro.
Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Bro.
She won't listen. She won't listen to this podcast.
Did
You're
she call
saying
you up before this? And
yeah, she messaged. She messaged. Yeah.
Yeah. She
was
sent
like,
we're isolated to her DMs.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, the
She'll never listen to
empty
this.
for
You're
now,
safe. Yeah,
but-
you're good.
Yeah, no, she will 100% listen to this after,
She
especially
won't.
after I tell her that. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways,
No, I was gonna say before we let you go, just the season has been awesome for story, lore, everything going on with the Shattered Realm. So I wanted to touch on this week with the Shattered Realm. Now we got really the opening of the Metroidvania. We got to go in everything going on with Savathûn and just the story beats this week. So whoever wants to jump in first. It's been a very exciting season so far, and we're 4 weeks in. So I'm curious where it goes. But who wants to what was your best take this week from all the story? Or Travis's eyebrows have to stop moving. Yeah, so Travis is ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Eyebrows need to stop.
I think I'm now willing to officially state the thing I said 2 weeks ago, that I thought this might be the best season, the best off-season, non-main expansion season. I think it is. I really do. I think the way they've done the time gates and the Metroidvania style, and now in this week we're getting to go back and solve all the mysteries and seeing what those mysteries were this week with the secret boss fights and that sort of stuff. I'm just like, yeah, like I can see myself playing through all 6 weeks and not being bored. Does the 6-person activity matter to me? No, like I hate doing it, but I've hated that for every season. So like none of those 6-person matchmade activities have really stuck out to me. So I just think like the story beats, those one-on-one conversations with Savathûn, the cutscenes. We got another one this week that was really awesome. All that good stuff. I'm just like, dude, this is the best season, like easily for me. So, and now with all the PvP stuff that's going on, like, how can you not be stoked about Destiny right now? This is like the best thing they could do leading up to the Witch Queen, because I'm already feeling the hype, even though it's still like 6 months out. So, yeah, I'm willing to say this is the best. My personal season so far of Destiny.
What I love about the narrative this season, without spoiling anything, or in case somebody hasn't done it like me, I haven't done all of it, and I don't want to spoil it for myself. Just the fact that every single character this season, whether they're in front of you or if they're on the periphery, everyone has motivations, and everyone has it feels like everybody's got stakes that are increasingly ramping up. And they all matter, and everybody's like I'm worried that we're gonna have several people die at the end of the season. I don't think everybody's gonna come out of this season. Mara. That's my thing. I think she's gone after.
I said that a couple weeks ago, and everybody flamed me and was like, "There's no way they would kill her off." I'm like, I think she might.
There's a lot of circumstantial evidence. I don't know if you guys have been watching Mylan stuff, but he thinks Osiris is gonna die. But I think that's a little
for sure if he's not already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If he's not already dead, but whatever, we'll see. But basically, yeah, it's just sort of like. This week, the screws are being turned a little bit. And you're starting to see, this is where it could be going. Oh, we don't know how it's going. But you can see that this is going to lead to a huge moment. And that huge moment is going to kick off the Witch Queen. So I really love just the little things they're doing week by week just to ratchet up the tension.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to debate Trav on this because, I'm a person that I come in with reasonable expectation each season, and prior to this I would say Season of the Dawn was a favorite of mine. I think Season of Arrival started strong and then it kind of faded out, but this has been amazing. It really has been. The astral alignment activity is different. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it's okay for me. But I look forward to, and I had to shout out the narrative team today. I hit up Tom and shout out to Rachel Levine from Lore. I don't know about y'all, but it makes me uncomfortable. It gives me a chilling feel when it says you finish the stats for the week and it's like Your friend Savathun wants to see the Guardian. I don't know why
Guardian.
her Guardian.
It says her Guardian. Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable, bro. Even walking into that room and I know she's encased in the I keep my character a couple steps back when I like she makes me uncomfortable. She's just very chilling with her description of the truth. You know, I think it's very well done. I'm not going to spoil.
Amber Wilson is doing an awesome job. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. And it's like,
and the other thing is, you know how Cog. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, please.
You know how everybody was saying, "Oh, you know what? The fact that we know what happens the next season completely ruins it." I think the opposite is true. I think the fact that we know she wins makes everything that's happening right now feel like, oh, we're about to do something real bad. I kind of like that we know. It raises the stakes.
It's like
get it. No way.
It's like Avengers Endgame. There's no way. There's no way they don't win at the end.
Right.
The journey on the way there is special.
It's special. And I know, like I said, I know this has been a little thing back and forth with me and E in terms of marketing and stuff like that. But I gotta agree with Trav. I gotta agree with Nomad. That the fact that we know somehow she's getting out of this and somehow she's going to manipulate everybody to get her end game, her end goal, is chilling because she seems like there's no way. But the thing for me, again, not to spoil, because I know a lot of people haven't done it, the Crow dynamic for me this week was really interesting.
Yes.
That's the biggest domino.
Yeah, like it just from a manipulation standpoint, from a lore standpoint, even, you know, when you go through this quest, I'm caught up on the quest now. What was it? The kinetic
Scepter.
Yes. Listening to him as Aldrin and getting stuff from there. This is sorry. Sorry. But I hopefully I didn't say too much. But at the end of the day,
Dumbledore.
Apologies, my brother. I apologize.
Wow, that was a rough one, by the way. If anybody hadn't got that, anyways, yeah.
Get the exotic weapon. Get the exotic weapon. Very, very well done. And we're just, we're gonna see what happens here. We're gonna see exactly what happens. This is setting up to be amazing. And I think for me, the ultimate reason why is, I said it before, the Dreaming City is one of the greatest set pieces they've ever done. It's something about that, the lore, the aesthetic. It's just everything about it I love. And I like that it's taken place here. We're getting to use, because they really didn't use it enough after Forsaken. And we're getting there, and I just love it. So this is great. And like Travis was saying, with the whole Metroidvania, with the Shattered Realm, well done each time. And they finally, released the whole let us store more of the parallax trajectory thing so that we can unlock more of this stuff. The weapons have been good. It's been great. PvP's in a good place. So far, so good. I just want to see how they put a bow on it and where they go with it to lead up to Witch Queen. But I am thoroughly enjoying it every week. E?
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys said most everything I've been thinking of. I don't want to obviously spoil what happened this week. Nomad, there's a cool cinematic, so definitely make sure you watch it. That's all I'm going to say. It goes along with doing a quest.
I didn't do it yet. I'm there yet. I didn't do it yet.
The reason I haven't done it yet is because I was making you some videos on how to get better.
There you go. He's busy.
You're all about
I
Shadow
played Destiny on Tuesday or Wednesday just because I was working on videos. And
just for me, I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, in fairness, I made the videos so you can get through them faster. So you'll be done in no time.
And in fairness, I haven't seen the cinema either. I'm still at the final step of acquiring said thing. So I haven't spoiled anything because I really haven't seen what they talk about. So I don't know what that is yet.
But yeah, I mean, seeing what they have done with the Shattered Realm and the Metroidvania of the unlocks and things like that, and there's still one more thing that we're going to get that's going to get a little bit more, the way we explored the zone this time around, the way we could like really use the different abilities, and then finally we'll see where this, the safe passage works a little bit longer. All of that's been excellent to go through, and as you said, like whether it's repeating, it's not like going back through the corrupted version. It's like they've taken these like seasonal activities, because like Expunge, and you had corrupted Expunge, you're like, that's a little tweak. This time you've got like, hey, here's the same thing, now you can explore like twice as much. And I'm like, that's like, people have, I mean, you can think about in Curse of Osiris, we got Mercury, we got the Infinite Forest and all the repetitions in there, but the fact that in a season we got these three different just very well interconnected. I mean, you're sitting there almost playing Dark Souls when I popped out of one of these things.
Yeah, if you know what reminds me of big time is when Shattered Throne came out for the first time, and we were like, "What the hell is this?" Today, I spent 45 minutes in one Shattered Realm because I was just like trying to find all the pathways. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is. And I know I was thinking about you because I know how much you love the Shattered Realm, the dungeon and that whole bit. And it has certain little mechanics and aspects of it that is cool. And like I said, I watched your video because again, I purposely waited to not do the exotic quest until all steps seem to be released now. And I was doing your videos. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Just going through all of this and the anchors, and they just really did a good job of utilizing the space in a new creative way and making it fun.
Yep. And then, as you guys have said, like the story, the lore, the beats that have been, the dominoes that Savathun is setting up, you can feel like literally the tension between a couple different characters, what Mara's trying to do, what she has done in the past to Aldrin, you'll see. Where Crow is at now. You've got Petra standing in the middle of some of this stuff. Osiris is sitting on the outer wings. Saint is trying to go look for Osiris. All these pieces are going on as we lead into what is supposed to be. I went back and I was looking at something like the campaign for Witch Queen is supposed to be something like we've never had. And they're running on these cylinders right now. If they put something together for the Witch Queen that is firing like this, I'm just going to be blown away.
Fire.
And
I'm just gonna throw this out. Ever since Travis became a regular on the show, Destiny's been killing it. Coincidence?
I'm with it.
I'm good. Yeah. 2 thumbs up.
We brought the tie guy in, bro. We love that.
Clunky.
That's right.
I still got to work on I got to get somebody to do the art for that, but yeah, we'll get you there.
Working on the updated art.
The Rhodian and the necktie. Jesus.
There you go.
Amazing.
But as we hit our time, I do kind of want to wrap this thing up since the big stuff we want to talk about is Crucible. If you guys are listening to this, maybe this will occupy your ears for a couple hours while you are playing Trials this weekend. But it's a lot of fun. The season's in a great spot, and honestly, it's probably one of the best times to be a Destiny person because of where we are at right now and what we get to look forward to in the future. It's bright. There's going to be some downtime, and I am totally fine with that because my backlog is full. But for the moment, man, it is a lot of fun every week to log in, see what's going on, and then now you can actually look forward to the week and be like, "Hey, I can play some Trials this weekend." And I'm like, that's a sentence I can say now. That's so weird.
That's so weird.
Real quick, really, really annoying that they're doing the new Trials objective mode right during the Halo Infinite technical preview. I'm very annoyed.
Yep.
I know.
Yep. I don't think I'm gonna play it, dude, because I gotta get my Halo, and that will always be number one.
I'm with you.
I'll be there Friday reset, but then after that,
and after that, one quick day, Halo's it's going down.
All right. Well, as we go, we always got to make sure we give our guest plenty of time to shout out all that stuff that's got going on. If you have not found, listened to, seen this man anywhere else before, I hope we have opened your eyes to go look for our guest. But, sir, the floor is yours. Where can they find you? What can they expect? How can they chat with you? Probably leave his DMs alone, but everything else, what do you got?
No, thank you very much for having me and having me back. More importantly, it's very rare to be invited to one of these things, let alone being invited twice. So thank you for giving me the time of your platform. I really appreciate that. You guys can find me on YouTube, primarily youtube.com/AscendantNomad, or just search AscendantNomad and I'll come up. I'm on Twitter as well by the same name, Twitch by the same name, and I have a Discord server with the same name. So I'm online, but if you want to see what I'm really all about, don't go to my Twitter. It's just full of PvP nonsense and engagement farming, as is the case with most content creators these days.
Love it.
But my good stuff is on YouTube.
Luke the legend.
Oh yeah.
Travis, are you under lock and key until your stuff gets out?
I'm good. You can read my articles, reviews, and previews on IGN.com. This week I'm reviewing Sable, which is an indie game that's got a very interesting art style. And then you can also find me on Bitcast on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, where we talk about general gaming stuff with my buddy Ains and this old guy named Dan, who's I don't know why he's on the show, but he sort of just wandered into the show, and I guess they gave him a seat. So yeah, you can find me there. Cog, how about you? What do you got going on?
I'm done, man. Salute, man. First, again, salute to the Nomad. It's always a pleasure to hear his perspectives, keeping the PvP community alive, teaching Ebontis in his spare time. He's just multifaceted.
Somebody's got to do it. So I'm glad to have some teachers out there.
I respect all the hats he wears.
It's his Make-A-Wish program helping you with this Crucible.
one lucky non-PvP skilled person.
Yeah,
Ascendant, man, you are great, and I know I hyped you up, but I don't think that would be my Make-A-Wish. I'm sorry.
Salute, man. Pleasure having you back. Perfect time to have him back. Obviously, PvP discussion, all the great stuff, and Travis and the homie and E. But yeah, man, you already know what it is with me. Defining Duke, you can catch that up. We got 2 episodes up. We got an ultimate up talking about the whole Disney IP stuff. So check that out. And if you don't want to, do the whole Patreon thing, you can wait. It's on Last Stand Media for free $99. We got a great discussion with Ben Smith, the mayor, and some great topics in the Xbox community. And then, of course, every Sunday is the Lord's Day, 11 a.m. NFL friendly time. So you can check that out. Exactly. Sorry. Yeah. You know what's funny? I spoke to.
Thank God. No competition. We keep our slot, so you guys are. Oh wait, are you guys earlier now?
Yeah, just for football. Just for I had told AIDS about this. He was like, "Nah, it's cool because we only gonna be there for like 2 months, and then once everybody's team is out of contention in January, we'll move back to our one." You know how NFL.
Hey, we squeaked out a win once. We'll see if that keeps going. But yeah, that was tragic. Almost lost.
So catch our Lord podcast with the Lords, or like I said, on Sunday, 11 a.m. This weekend, we will have Jimmy Champagne. Jimmy Champagne will pull up. We'll talk some tech with him. It should be great. And of course, we got that Last Word podcast on Thursdays, which I love. My man Travis E. And we got to get some new artwork because we got to put a tie in there somewhere and get this popping. But yeah, man, absolute pleasure. And salute to everybody that pulled up today. It was really cool to see everybody in the chat and engaging with us, whether they agree or disagree. It's always fun. And E, what you got going?
For me, as you guys know, Deathloop, been playing that one on stream. Hooks are in me heavy on that one. It is so, as I said, I've never played an arcade game, but man, I get it. Like, this may be like a polished version of the other two, but something just about the little joy of playing around in this sandbox. I just cannot. I'm like even thinking right now, I'm like, do I stream again tonight just to go play around in it some more? And then Kin of Birds of Spirits, that comes out on Tuesday. I've been waiting a long time since I saw that preview. And the New World is not long after. I don't know if I'm going to dabble in that one or not. But again, that's a whole thing. Like, I haven't played an MMO like that in so long. I don't even know if I can squeeze that in. But overall, it's been a lot of fun. But the biggest thing is Nomad. The pleasure has been absolutely ours. So thank you for spending the time with us. You are always welcome back, sir. It is a pleasure to have you and a pleasure to chat. And as most people know, it's easy to listen to you talk, man. So we don't mind letting you. It's good times. But for this episode, number 166, thank you guys. I think we cracked over 100 of you guys watching out there. So appreciate that one. You guys blowing it up on the YouTube. So glad you guys are supporting the new night. But for this episode, number 166, September 16th, with our amazing guest, it has been The Last Word.
The Last Word.
Yeah, I do have to do editing, New Red. Way to spoil my fun. God, I know.
New Red on it.
All right, well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to wrap up the stream here. There's not exactly rating on YouTube, but for now, you guys in chat, thank you so much. Go support all of these gentlemen. Follow, like, go hit, like, refresh on all of their videos and content like 20 times. Give them some extra views. You guys are awesome. I'll see you later.